Welcome to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com. Dedicated to the evolution of you, because businesses grow when people do. Serving leaders, managers, and people who will be, helping you reach excellence in your work and achieve your personal goals at the same time. Sign up for the free course at clearandopen.com. What if you lived your life from the perspective that actually anything you wanted was really possible, rather than the normal sort of middle class, beaten down, this is the way it is, I can't ever change anything? What if one day you could have your biggest dream and all it took was for you to reject the current normal that you're in? Hi, it's Joseph, and thanks for tuning in to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com. Over the past few episodes, we've examined what's quote-unquote normal in our lives. For many of us, normal is chronic overwhelm, emotional conflict, or physical discomfort. And the only reason we accept that reality, a normal we don't even like, is that we're even more terrified of change than we are uncomfortable. Today, we're going to start making change happen in spite of our fear. And it all begins with both accepting and rejecting where we are right now. Sound like a contradiction? It isn't. Keep listening. I offer weekly member webcasts, online courses, and mentorship at clearandopen.com because it's my truth that with the right tools, anyone can eliminate the people, money, and time problems holding them back in business. And I share parts of these webcasts and courses on this show because I want to help you too. If you're enjoying the show and learning from it, I'd love your feedback. If you're listening to the show on an Apple device, all you have to do is open up the podcast app, view the full description of this episode, and click the link to leave a rating and review for the show. Thanks so much for listening. Let's start the show. You know, I do these monologues sometimes because I get inspired and I think it will elicit stuff out of you, but maybe instead I should just show up and start with the uncomfortable question of how can I serve you and get you to say something. But so let me say it this way. From now on, you guys, bring something you want help with. We're a smaller group now than we were before. So, Greystone's missing too. I forgot about him. So we're a smaller group. Use me. You guys know, I'm pretty good at helping people change stuff. And this is a small group, dreams you have or dreams maybe you don't have yet. I really can help you make them happen. That's what I do. So when you're quiet, it tells me, I don't know, I start to have to make stuff up. Either everything is perfect in your life, which I know isn't true. You're telling yourself everything in your life is perfect, which I hoped you would have dropped that delusion a long time ago. You're fine with how everything is, which means you're not into excellence, which means I don't know why you're here. You just be honest about that. If you're not interested in excellence, then just be honest about that. And or you're so overwhelmed that you're just getting through your day-to-day existence and you can't think about your dreams. If that's the case, let me help you with that chronic overwhelm. That's fine. Overwhelm is a part of life. As long as it's a funny thing. Overwhelm is a part of life and it doesn't have to be. You know, it's like sort of like a common cold, right? There are things you can do to make sure you don't get it very often, but it's going to happen sometimes. So you want to say neither, I'm never getting sick again. Oh, that's a recipe. I'm never getting overwhelmed again. That's a recipe for disaster because it's going to happen. But to throw your hands up and saying, well, I guess sometimes you just get sick. There's no point in taking care of yourself and eating well. Well, that's not it either. It's about managing overwhelm. Because as soon as you manage the overwhelm and you clear everything out, the sort of paradox of that is that when you create all that space and time and freedom, life goes, oh boy, space and time. Let me bring them something. Let me give them a new project. Let me show them what they can do with all that space and time. And then it gets filled and you get overwhelmed again. Sort of like cooking, it's like if you're cooking something you're familiar with, then you can clean as you go really well. But if you're cooking something you've never made before, usually you wreck the kitchen in the process. You do that enough times, right? Where it's because you're distracted and it's overwhelming, right? Not true, but it's just the situation is conducive to overwhelm. And then you cook that thing a few times, you get your hands around it, then you can clean as you go suddenly, and then you get an idea, I'll cook something new. And then the kitchen is a mess again. That's how life is. As long as you don't just start thinking that a messy kitchen is normal. But some people are like that, right? Some cooks, doesn't matter whether they make eggs in the hole, they're going to make a total mess. You guys know eggs in the hole? Oh my God, I get to teach eggs in the hole? Awesome. Okay. So it's really simple. Who knows what eggs in the hole is? Also called toad in a hole. I've heard it called that. You guys don't know what eggs in a hole is? Oh my God. Okay.
Is it the same thing as birds in a nest?
I've never heard of that, but probably, yeah. It's eggs in the holes in bread, right?
Yeah. Right.
Birds in a nest. Nice. Okay. So Bill knows it. Bill, you want to describe what eggs in the hole is?
No. No, go ahead.
Oh man. So you put butter in a pan, melt butter in a pan, and you take two, I do two. However many pieces of bread you want, you cut holes in them, circles, the holes that are about the size of yolks. And then I toast the bread on one side in the pan. So you brown the bread on one side, turn the bread over, and then break the eggs into them, right? So the eggs are in the hole. And then you let it cook for a little while, depends on how hard you like your eggs, and then turn them over. And now you have this egg-infused piece of toast. And if you want to really, and that's awesome just on its own. Oh, and you also, of course, want to cook the holes because they won't make it to the end because you just pick them up and eat them. So you fry the holes as well. But then now you've got two pieces of bread. Now you can do some really interesting things there. You can make a sandwich with that. You can make a BLT out of two eggs in the hole pieces. You ever done that, Bill? You ever made a sandwich out of eggs in the hole? Yeah.
No.
That's really like, when you really need to do something good for yourself.
I typically lay over hash or something.
Oh, nice.
Over top of it, let it ooze over. Got it.
Okay, nice. I didn't even think of that. So glad this came up. Yeah. Birds in a nest. Beautiful. Well, then, because then if it's over hash browns, then it really is nest looking. I don't know why you can't get eggs in a hole in a restaurant. It's crazy.
I've never heard of it in a restaurant.
No, it's crazy. You should be able to get an eggs in the hole sandwich. You should be able to go to IHOP and get an eggs in the hole BLT. Not that hard.
Come to Santa Barbara. We have, they make them across the street.
You can get eggs in the hole?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're called there?
Yeah, I have never ordered it, but I see people coming on that. It's like, I don't like them.
So we got 3 minutes left, you guys. How do you want to use them?
No, I was going to say, Joseph, could you come to Santa Barbara and babysit?
Babysit what, your employees?
No, my kid.
Oh.
It's hard in the mornings to wake up kids and try to, my 5-year-old, my little girl, it's hard in the mornings for her.
Okay, so what's normal for you is it's hard in the mornings with kids.
Yeah.
How do you want the normal to be?
I'm not always late, but I'm, like you said, it's hard for her because I have to wake her up and...
Oh, hold on, hon. Forget the story. The question is only, what's the normal you want?
Be on time every time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm going to work on, it's probably have her wake up more.
This is more story. See, watch what typically happens. The chronic overwhelm pulls you down into the content details of what's going on. This is a high level. Right now, I'm inviting you all to do a high level entrepreneurial type exercise where the only thing that is important is the what, not the how, right? Thomas Edison decided, I'm going to make a light bulb, and then got into the how. But you have to start with an absolutely unequivocal, completely clear, this is what's going to be so. None of the details matter until you're clear about that. So vision What is your ideal morning? Be absolutely clear about this. I get up at this time. This is how my kids are. This is when I leave. This is the tone of the conversations we have. This is how easy this is. Don't get into how it is now. Don't get into a plan. You start with, this is how it's going to be. And once you're completely committed to that, then you look at the hows and the ins and outs and all that. Make sense? That's how you make change happen. Because the answer to how you're going to do it, you have no idea. You have some ideas, whatever that how is. You got some ideas about how you're going to do it. But the what is more important than the how. Because if you are completely committed to the what, you'll figure out the how. Because half of the how tactics you have aren't going to work.
True.
See what I mean? It's the commitment to the what. Bill, what were you going to say?
Oh, mine was silly, a little bit silly. My wife and I, over the last 2 weeks, we just repainted our house, our living room and great room. I guess it overlooks the kitchen and everything. Mm-hmm. And we haven't agreed on a set of window treatments yet in the kitchen, and or if we're not going to put them up. So the way my TV is angled, it's above our fireplace and it angles towards the kitchen and the great room area. And the light outside in the evening shines off, reflects off the TV, or the kitchen light reflects off the TV. So we've been feuding back and forth, and my wife said, "You'll get used to it over time." It's not that big of a deal because it's not a big deal to her. So I'm like, come on, you really have to speed up your choice on getting these window treatments because this is bothering.
And you don't want it to become normal for you.
She wants it to be, yeah. So it was a little interesting today. Just, a little silly story.
It's not silly at all. I love it. It's a great example of how that adaptability is used, right? I mean, that's what's going on. She's saying, I don't want to have to make a decision about this. And it's an appeal to adaptability. You'll get used to this bad normal, right? I mean, this is what goes on like at the highest levels of government, or at the lowest levels of, I heard a newscaster make this joke once. I never forgot it. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was talking about oil prices. You know how like there's oil problems in the world or there's a war or whatever and gas prices goes up and they never go back down. And this pundit was comparing it to marijuana dealers in high school, right? There's a dry spell and the prices go up, but they never go back down, because it's the new normal. Like, hey, it's $3 a gallon. Well, economy's up, and then it gets better. But why? Gas has never gone back down to $1.25 a gallon like it was when I was a teenager, and it never will. Why? Because hey, the people are used to this new normal. Well, let's dip at 10 cents or so and throw them a bone, right? But when's the last time we saw gas that was $1 anything? 15 years ago. And so it becomes a powerful way to manipulate. There was a scene in House of Cards once, I remember, where Kevin Spacey's character says he's trying to manipulate someone as usual. And he says, he gets the person to consider something. And he says, a mistake that people often make is they try to get from a no to a yes, instead of trying to get from a no to a maybe. And a maybe that's the same kind of thing. It's like, it's an appeal to, well, just maybe this isn't so bad. Just try this out. I know the reflection on the TV is not too bad. Just check it out. Maybe it won't bother you in a couple of days. Okay, I'll try it, right? That's the slippery slope to suffering. And that's where most people live. What if you lived your life from the perspective that actually anything you wanted was really possible, rather than the normal sort of middle class, beaten down, this is the way it is, I can't ever change anything? What if one day you could have your biggest dream and all it took was for you to reject the current normal that you're in with all of your heart? Thanks for listening to Manage to Engage, the Clear and Open podcast. Join us next week when you'll be a little bit closer to who you're destined to be. Until then, Know that Clear and Open is dedicated to the evolution of you, because businesses grow when people do. If you want to help the show grow, I'd appreciate you leaving a rating and review on iTunes. All you have to do is open the Apple Podcasts app, view the full description of the episode, and click the link to leave a rating and review. Or you can go to clearandopen.com/review, and it will bring you to the right place. If you're looking for more support on your journey, head over to clearandopen.com for even more tools, articles, and free resources. Thanks so much for listening. Bye for now.